Welcome to B2B Talks 6. We are, for those of you who are here for the first time, and I see a lot of new faces, I have to admit, which is pretty awesome. This is B2B Talks is a community event targeted at B2B talk, B2B marketers that are facing challenges in the international market today. My name is Kfir Pravda. I'm the CEO of Pravda Media Group, and we are hosting this event. And it all started when we wanted to find a way to combine B2B marketing and alcohol. So we created this event, and it works pretty well. And if we're talking about alcohol, I do not see here the guys from Bright Info. Okay, can you stand up for a second? This is Chaim Mintz from Bright Info. You see the logo on his shirt. You also see the logo on our landing page. And the reason is that Bright Info are longtime supporters of the B2B Talks event, and I would like to thank you guys for that. Yay! Cheers. And it means that they are the beer sponsors, so actually all the alcohol you're drinking is thanks to this guy. Okay? Okay. Another important point, all the sponsorship money goes to your drinks. This is not a for-profit event. And the most important point is that this is a panel of some of the brightest people that I know in the field of content marketing, which is a topic that we're going to talk about today. But this is considered to be, and the goal is for you to be able to consult with one another and to ask questions, okay? So we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to raise a couple of topics. But please, if you think that we are right, if you think that we are completely wrong, which is better because then we have a better discussion, right? Raise your hand, ask your questions if you have any specific concerns. This is a discussion. This is not a conference. Okay, so first of all, I would like to start by one important point. My team is here. The Pravda Media Group team is here. If you need more, if there are issues with the food or you want to talk with some of the organizers, Pravda Media Group team, please raise your hand so everybody can know who you are. Good. So this is the team. If you need anything, talk to them. Okay, let's get to Tachlis. B2B content marketing. It's like the buzzword, right? I have some of the people doing the most interesting stuff about it in Israel. I would start with Daya Shuali, that I don't have a clue how to present her because she calls herself Don Draper at the polls. Okay? Come on. Yael Kochman. She called a marketing manager in a company called Rujum, but I heard someone here calling you the content queen.
Rightfully so.
Yay! Asaf Schulman from Checkmarks, VP Marketing of Checkmarks, a company that, unlike all the other companies here, does something that nobody really understands. I'm still, yeah, exactly. But they have amazing marketing. And Daniel, that is under two hats here. One, he has a confession site called CMO Confessions. If you're looking for high quality content for CMOs, you should go to cmoconfessions.com. And he has also another gig, a strange one, as the VP Marketing, right? Of CMO, head of the universe at Emaze, which is basically like PowerPoint, just way better. Was it a good description? Okay, so I just want to give some context to the discussion, and then I will let these smart people to give their views. At the end of 2014, there was a survey of 1,000 B2B marketers. Now, they were asking those B2B marketers, how do they treat content marketing? 70% said that they are going to create this year more content than what they've done last year. But only 21% of them actually managed to measure ROI out of it, which is pretty, it's pretty strange, right? Because we're talking here about B2B. It's not B2C. It's hardcore. You spend X amount of money, you want to get a return. Are there any designers here in the room? Graphic designers? Okay, one graphic designer there. So graphic designers are having a blast because infographic was the most used type of content that are going to be used even more in 2015. Okay. And does anybody here have a LinkedIn profile? Right, you heard about it. It's a nice network, something in computers. 94% are using LinkedIn as a distribution platform, and it is considered by 52% of them as an actual the best performing network to use. So stop using Facebook if you're trying to sell stuff. So I would like to hear from you guys, okay? Because you're spending a lot of effort and time in content marketing. So I would like just to ask you to present how you do content marketing and how does it relate to your funnel, the F word, the funnel. Okay? I'll start with you.
Wow, so it's a big question. I just want to say something about Facebook beforehand. This is, I'm an inbound marketer, so I don't really do performance marketing, but our performance marketing team treats B2B marketing as B2C. You would expect the pulses, I'll just say it in 2 words, just so you'll understand our what our challenges are. It is a B2B. It's a simple project management for startups that doesn't give you just, task management, each person with their endless to-do list, but is transparent. You have the high level, everybody in the company knows what the company needs to reach. And then you just have, tasks and projects and owners and deadlines and collaboration, communication all in one place. But so it's not very sexy, quote unquote. And the other thing is that no one goes on Google and searches for high level project management. Nobody knows they need that. So usually people would say to us, you would probably perform best on LinkedIn or on Twitter because it's a B2B. Well, we decided we're going to treat it as a B2C because the person making the decision is just a person that spends time on Facebook just like anyone else. He doesn't just go in and go out as you do with LinkedIn. He spends his entire day there. It's like an open tab. And we catch their attention there. And they are emotionally influenced just like anybody else. And actually, for us, Facebook performs amazingly for paid marketing.
Really?
Yeah. Content marketing, that's another story. I think since probably 2 years ago, since they changed their API, I don't think, at least I don't know of, but this panel might surprise me. For us, it hasn't been performing so well for content. So after about a year of trying to do stuff with content, which mainly helped our branding and positioning and getting people to hear about it, like, guest posts on the Next Web, guest posts on VentureBeat, and exchanging guest posts with other relevant blogs, which was the only thing we could actually measure return on investment on. Like we did a great exchange with Pipedrive. Do you know Pipedrive? It's a CRM. It's really excellent CRM. I really like to recommend it. So we did an exchange there with a promo code so that we could measure, and that still performs till this very day. But it's kind of a long tail. So it was obvious that what we needed eventually was to revamp our blog. We relaunched our blog with a new design 2 months ago, and now we can finally get to work, and we're measuring. Now it's part of the funnel. So we measure visits, we measure signups to the newsletter, we measure signups to the tool itself, and then we measure conversion to paying. And now we can finally start getting a grip of which type of content is actually performing well and converting and which isn't. So I think now it's time to let you else.
So I think Daria said one of the keywords, but I already forgot what it is. I remember that. That's from all the alcohol. You've been forcing us to drink. Yeah. No, you said something important. Everything was important, but thank you. Basically, I'd like to give you a little bit of a background. So Resume is a conversion tool that takes companies' content and allows them to create more engaging, converting stories out of that. And because the tool is in the content marketing industry, more or less, we find it very, very hard to stand out with our content, because every company out there, whether it be an agency, a tool, or a freelancer, everybody who's into content marketing, they do content marketing for themselves. So imagine the competition on search results, on Facebook feeds, on LinkedIn feeds, whatever it is. Imagine the kind of competition that we need to deal with, because a construction company, they don't. Not all of them do content marketing, and the ones who do probably don't do it very well. But content marketing companies, they all do content marketing and they do it well. And we need to compete with all of them. So as a startup who only started out about a year and a half ago, and not a lot of resources, not a lot of brand awareness, not a lot of manpower just yet, we need to get creative. Sorry?
Women power.
Women power, yeah. So we need to get very creative with our content, and that is what we're trying to do. And we try out different things. We try to measure everything that we're doing, and we see different lifts in KPIs in different platforms. So, for example, we're getting most of our traffic from Twitter. From the content that we're sharing, but we're getting the most signups, the more inquiries and reaches out from LinkedIn. So where should I invest more time in? People first hear about us usually from Twitter, but then they finally reach out when they see us on LinkedIn. So I have to do both. It doesn't cut it to do just one of them. If I'll just do LinkedIn all day long, probably people would see me there for the first time, and they wouldn't reach out. So the way we divide it is most of our content is content that belongs to kind of the top of the funnel, content that's more general, that speaks to a broader audience, that talks about content marketing in general, about lead generation in general. And this is content that we're pushing out on mostly on Twitter, but also other platforms. We're not just pushing our own content, but we're trying to become thought leaders in this space. So we're pushing every piece of content that we see relevant for our community, and we even try to make our content be somewhere around 30-40% tops of the content that we're pushing. Then on LinkedIn, we're pushing more bottom of the funnel content that talks about Resume, about case studies, how we're helping our customers. And then once the reader already saw us in a more generic post that got value from us and learned to trust us, they see something that's more specific, then we see the main lifts in KPIs.
That's right. Well, Checkmarks has a unique, audience, which is as geeky as it gets. Okay, we help software development companies find and fix security bugs that could be exploited by hackers. So it's a pretty sexy thing, for people in the industry. People outside the industry don't know much about it, and rightfully so. So the competition that we have are mainly companies, small startups like HP and IBM. So we're competing head to head with the beasts of this world, and in terms of generating content and creating research, we have no chance of competing with them. So we really try and do sort of out of the box stuff. One example which worked really well for us is to try and gamify stuff. Okay, so we created this game called Game of Hacks. You can go to gameofhacks.com and see what it's all about. I don't know if any of you played Song Pop, which is this really cool game on Facebook. So we did Song Pop for hackers. Okay, so you see a piece of code. You need to find what's vulnerable there, and it's I don't know.
Porn
I don't know if
for geeks, basically.
it's super
Porn
super
site for
geeky.
geeks.
I consider myself a geek, and I can't play it. So it's not the traditional content marketing, which we also do, but that sort of out of the box approach worked extremely well for us. So we do that. We do all sorts of crowdsourced content, like your New Year resolution for application security. Okay, a lot of people contributing their tips and then upvoting and downvoting each other. Yeah.
When you say performed incredibly well, so do you measure like what's incredibly well?
Well, incredibly well.
Necessarily numbers.
Yeah. Well, the KPI. You know what? It was more of a marketing stunt. We didn't really anticipate what's about to unfold. We had 35,000 people played in the first 24 hours. And then we've got, about 5,000 people played every month since then. The only promotion of Checkmarks was, it's like powered by Checkmarks at the very, very bottom. Nothing more than that. And we're getting a lot of leads from that. Everybody's getting our, very nice remarketing pixel in that as
That's
well.
what I wanted to ask. If
Yeah.
you put remarketing there, like chasing them all over the
Everybody's
place.
registering their names and emails to the leaderboard as well, even if they don't make it to the leaderboard. And then we can produce content from that. We see how bad developers are actually playing the game, okay, and what sort of vulnerabilities they don't know anything about. So anyway, there's a lot about that.
So it's shaming as a strategy.
Well, we don't out those people, but I think the most we create content based on the numbers. But I think the most interesting bit about it is that at some stage people started asking, so how much does it cost? and there was no intention ever to charge anything for it. So now we're actually productizing that. So it's like content marketing gone product marketing. So it's kind of a funny story, but there's different bits and pieces. I guess the traditional type of content marketing that everybody talks about, we do it as scientifically as possible. We try and understand what our target audience will be searching for, and then using all tools available, to measure how much volume each of those key phrases has. We distribute it in all the ways that you probably do as well, using some of the tools that like Octopus and Buffer and everything possible. We recycle that in every possible way, as you do with content, and use that as to create awareness, but also to nurture down at the bottom of the funnel. So that's more or less it.
Fantastic. Some That is a fantastic example. I have to say, it's really interesting because if you ask somebody what is content marketing, three Jews in a room will have four different opinions about content marketing, right? And I think for the most part, a lot of people think of content marketing as a new form of social, maybe a richer social where you promote more interesting and engaging content in the social. And many times you add some performance metrics to it. But I define it this way very clearly. Content marketing is the use of content to help people make a decision that will lead them down to the next step in the funnel. Very, very accurately. Use of content to allow people to make a decision that'll bring them down my funnel. So a lot of these tactics that we all see, HubSpot do an amazing job at this, right? Create white papers and, sign up to download this book, and very, very clear what they're doing. But the challenge we're a small startup. Emaze is a young Israeli startup. And even though I have an incredible marketing budget of about $2.8 million this year, yeah, which sounds like a tremendous amount. No, it's not enough. It's not enough.
It's never enough.
Right? It's never enough. And the challenge was, how do we create enough quality content, original? How do we scale it? Right? So you hire 5 amazing people. Not enough. Right? How much content are you going to make? How much distribution are you going to get out of it? Not enough. Never enough. So the question we had in our minds is, how do we have not 5 amazing people, but 1 million amazing people? And luckily for us, Emaze is a content creation and distribution platform. And so instead of trying to create very unique content, and hands down, this is a great example, which is, I think, there's a lot to learn from. We decided to take a bunch of users which normally nobody would look at. Nobody wants them because they don't want to pay, right? We make money off of B2B. B2B product, it's presentations. People use it for work. People use it for finding work. Nobody outside of business side pays for this, right? But we decided to open it anyways because the free product that people are not paying for and using are students in education, higher education teachers, and they are viral. They are crazy, and they make amazing content. Amazing. I cannot do the stuff that they do. They will spend hours and create amazing presentations about all kinds of stuff that you just sit and watch and say, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And so the balance trick that we have to do is to say, okay, how do we promote that content, and how do we notify the end user? That means the people who are watching these presentations, and let them know, okay, this product is something you could use too. Okay, so our tactic is really let other people do the content work for us. And in fact, we actually go out of our way to promote other people's content. Why? Because it has our stamp on it and our logo. And one of the things we just did recently is we actually put underneath the logo, we said, upgrade to remove logo. It actually says it on the watermark, right? Now, you might think that's shaming in a way, right? But the thing is, for people who never wanted to pay, it's not a shame. They don't care. They got a free product. They're going to use it. They're happy. But it sends a clearer message about what the product is for. and that helped another little more conversion, bringing people into the funnel. Um, I'll stop right there.
Okay, so basically, before the panel, we've just created a list of questions and sent it to all of you, and you answered all of them until now.
I want to say something. I actually want to ask Daniel something. Sorry.
Have a content marketer microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the beginning of Virgin, when we just started out, it was a B2C platform, and we let everyone who wants to share their knowledge and expertise go on the platform and create Virgin, just repurpose content that's online, add their insights, and send it out to the world. And we were hoping that that would when we start, approaching companies and B2B, we hope that that would become an engine for us, just the way you did it. And what we've discovered is that the companies don't care about a teacher who's doing a math class for fourth graders, right? They care about content that's relevant for them. And eventually we stopped free, so there's no free version anymore. We're just B2B, and we are promoting content from our users if it's relevant for our community. So let's say if we have somebody who's a marketing consultant, she makes great versions, so I'm promoting them like crazy. But that's like one case. So I'm just wondering if there was something that we could have done maybe to resemble what you guys are doing.
It's $150 per hour, and you will send the invoice.
We can do a little bit of we have options plan, right? You want me to answer that? So I think that's a great question because a lot of people have content creation platforms. Canva has one, and I noticed that Canva, their efforts have no effect on me, right? In terms of the content that their users create. I think to some extent it's a game of numbers. We in the high tech industry and SaaS companies have the luxury of having a product that costs us essentially nothing to make. Don't say it outside this room, but essentially the product is the fixed cost, the marketing is the variable expense, unlike other industries, and so it's a game of numbers. It's a game of will this rank for SEO? Have you really optimized that? It's a game of getting tremendous volume. And it didn't kick in until we had a lot of volume. And it's a game of low conversion ratios and high volume. And part of it is how do it's very much in the very top of the funnel and the awareness level. It doesn't help in the bottom levels. That is still a struggle we have. Where we really work more heavily on advertising and Twitter and so on. So in the very top of the funnel, we work a lot with Facebook and a lot of content, word of mouth content. And then as you go down and down, it gets much more B2B kind of focused until on our corporate sales side, it gets, back to the phone calls and the usual stuff. So it's, I think the answer is it's volume and very much top of the funnel, and maybe not everybody.
I just want to give some context, and we'll go to your question. Just want to give some context because there are different types of companies using content marketing, okay? And what we have here in the panel are two companies that are relatively young startups that have a content product. So using the product enables you to create more content from your users. We have the Pulse, which is you're trying to slack your way in to organizations in a sense, right? To provide a product that is doing something very, very boring, but just in a way better way. And we have what you do. So, and that's just like, yeah. And also, the reason I'm saying that is one day you will explain what exactly you do. But the reason I'm saying that is because when you're selling to developers, it's very, very different than when selling to any other community out there. Some of our clients are large organizations that sell telecom products, very long, complex sales processes, CRM systems, call center management solutions, sexy stuff. So their content marketing plays a complete different role. And it's important to know that when we are talking about content marketing in a lot of organizations, some of the cool stuff that you are talking about, just the red tape will kill. Having a lot of this type of tactics, either the company itself doesn't have this content engine in the back end that enables them easily to create new content, like Rujum has and you guys have, right? Which is pretty awesome. You have, the solution that you've put out is amazing. Like that's really, really cool. Okay, but not all companies will be able to implement such a thing. Okay. and the way that you sell your product is a bit different. So when you're looking at least at the larger companies, here the game is a bit different. First of all, it's harder to create content in volume and in quality to cater the audience. That's point number one. When you're selling to telecom, when you're selling enterprise software in large numbers, this kind of stuff, it's really hard to create constant, engaging content machine. It's a huge challenge. Yes, sure.
Okay.
Then we go to.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. So the first thing is, Daniel, could you repeat your definition of content marketing? It was very good. Everybody tweet this.
Handle CMO confessor. They're using content to allow to get people to make decisions that will lead them down the next step in your funnel.
Exactly. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so I think that's a very, very, very good definition of B2B content marketing. Thing is, who knows what's going to get that? You don't know. So I think this is the first thing why debating is a complete waste of time. And the thing to do is just measure. What we try to do, and there's two other things about volume and about quality. So the two other things are, okay, so you want to create content that will, on the one hand, give value to whoever you think your users are and what interests them. And then the other thing is that you want to convey something from the spirit of the company, whatever that spirit is. So that, like, that's Asaf's example is amazing, because apparently that's their spirit of like being hackers and coders. And for us, what this means is you need to kind of close the feedback loop and be in very, like, one way around it is to talk to other people in your company, especially people who are in contact with your users and customers. For us, this is our amazing customer success team. And what they told us is that they found that they give live demos, and they found that the live demos convert to paying 6 times better than people who don't get live demos. And they asked users, the people who started paying, why this live demo help you pay? And what they found out, it was not because it was difficult to understand how to use the product. It's a piece of cake. Anyone can understand it. It's because most people don't know how to manage. And in that conversation, they were actually giving them management tips. They were giving them a method that we believe and we implement ourselves on how to manage. And that kind of took them over to the next step in the funnel of becoming paying. So the minute we understood that, we started saying, okay, so what we need to give in our blog is tips and methods about management. So that's one thing. The other thing is that I feel we're a very fun company. We have fun. We like going to work every day. We love each other. So we try to convey that as well. So I originally come from fashion e-commerce. So just 2 weeks ago, I decided to create a presentation for female startup founders, how to get dressed in 10 minutes, get out of the house in 10 minutes and still look fabulous. It seems like it has nothing to do with management, but I think it has to do with productivity. Your time is your most important asset, right? So since I don't know whether that or an interview with Avishai, the CEO of Wix, a billion-dollar company, will perform better, I just measure. Apparently, that that female startup fashion thing converted to paying was the first post that converted to paying in like 5 minutes. So you just put it out there, measure, and then you understand which will bring people to the next step in the funnel.
That's a cool. Actually, I was going to ask you about it because I was just like trying to figure out. Okay, so can you through the polls find the best scarf to go with your? When I saw this presentation, I just like, how does that? But that's a very good example. Yeah, questions.
No,
Z first, and then yes.
So a statement and a question. So
Okay.
first is the statement.
Do you want to use the mic? It will be better.
So I think you offered a very good definition of Ziv Koren, CMO of Camilio. We offer an all-in-one marketing platform for SMBs, which we sell through Yellow Pages companies and web agencies. And essentially, I like your definition, but I think content has another role, which is important to stress, at least for me. It helps me paint. I mean, you can't really get leads from content. You need to do PPC. But the problem with PPC, the problem with paid stuff is that targeting is never good. It's never as good as you'd like it to be. And I believe that a good content actually helps you paint your target and help you target your audiences by, and this is where it kind of leads to my question, because you've said that you've using Facebook as a paid channel, but you're not using it to promote content. Why not, use it as a paid channel to promote the content? Okay.
We're just starting. We're trying Outbrain first. I think Outbrain has performed a bit better, and we've just put out the first really performance-oriented post that's written by Ishai Green from Spot I Am, who's a user of the Pulse, and says like it's the first time he exited. This guy, okay, so this guy, so we don't know anything about it. He exited twice, like over $140 million. And he says that using the Pulse is the first time it gave him courage to be a manager. So he wrote it, and it's the first time we're actually putting, call to actions like forms of sign up to the Pulse after each paragraph, and to that we're going to send traffic from Facebook and see how it does. I don't know yet. I'll be happy to, keep you all updated on whether it's worth anything or not.
Now, a small tip that I'd like to offer. Anyone here knows about Sniply?
Yes.
Just one. Okay, so Sniply is actually a very cool tool which allows you to take other people's content, post them on your Facebook wall, but add basically it's an iframe which allows you to add like a call to action. So for instance, I found like a nice article saying about not selling for agency, not selling a product, but selling results. And then I added a little call to action saying, do you want to learn how to sell results with Camilio on somebody else's content?
Can I say something about Sniply?
Sure.
So, sorry. Virgin uses an iframe technology to help companies embed some of their content inside of our platform. And recently, more and more sites became iframe blocked. Now, one of our users, because she has great content, we're using her content in our regions as well, started using an iframe blocker on her website. So I sent her an email, Brooke, what happened? Why did you iframe your site? And please exclude regions so that your regions won't be empty. And she said, I'm using a plugin for the iframe blocking because of Sniply. Because I don't want people stealing my content and promoting their offers on it. So I asked her, okay, what's the name of the plugin? The name of the plugin is the Sniply Buster. And I actually just contacted the company. They're going to exclude Rujum, so they would allow people to embed content inside of Rujums, but not inside of Sniply. But you're free to use it if you'd like.
Of course, when we invited the speakers, we told them not to do product pitching. Clearly, we failed. But or attack competitors. Yeah, so now it's called Sniply Buster, but not Rujum.com.